Hi, this is Champlet 2 on the PlayStation Network, here to give you a review of the Bottom Dollar business locations from the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC. There are 5 locations available, and we're going to take a good look at all of them. The least expensive of the 5 locations is, of course, way up north in Paleto Bay. This one starts with a regular base price of $1,650,000. Let's check it out. If you own any of these other businesses up here in Paleto Bay, this might be a convenient location for you. On the game map, you can see here it's really easy to find. It's just right here in the center of Paleto Bay. There aren't a lot of amenities really close by. The ammunition is several blocks south down here, but there's also the helicopter pad and the paint shop's really close if you like that. But it is pretty centrally located here in Paleto Bay. As we walk through these locations, I'm going to buy each one of them, and I'm going to let you see what the style options look like as we go through, so you can pick which one you like the best. So we'll start with this default one. And now for this first purchase, I'm not going to buy any of the extras because I want to see exactly how much trade-in value you get if you're going to move from one property to another one without any of the extras. The agents, I will just show how much they cost, but I'm not going to buy them. $750 for one. Ooh, $1.5 million for 2. So I'm going to skip these for now, and I'm going to review them in future purchases. So let's buy the first one here in Paleto Bay. Here we are now in Paleto Bay, and this is going to be our first location right here. So as you can see, it's right here on the street, easy access, plenty of good parking. It's not blocked or hard to get into at all. And your main entrance on foot is right here, as well as the garage entrance right here. But since this is the first time I'm going in, I'm going to have a little cutscene to do here, and I think I'll just skip that and come back when it's done. So here we are with the default design. I'm going to take you down the stairs first. And we will go to, not quite sure what all these lockers and boxes are for yet, but I assume we'll find out. So here we are in the garage. Looks like you can store some extra stuff in here. Those doors don't work, by the way. And there's the garage exit. And there's our van that we'll be using to bring back the bounties. So now we'll come up here. This is the little entry area. Here's our front office where Jeanette sits. And this is our cage, I guess, or cell for the bounties. We'll hold them there. And this is just your basic office, but this is the initial design, the default one. It looks pretty bland, just kind of gray and plain. Now I'm assuming that these fixtures in the office are going to change depending on the design. I haven't seen the other ones yet, but we'll check them out. We have a couch here and a table and some cabinets. Little credenza over there with some alcohol. And another little credenza over here. And the desk and some shelves back here. Oh, look, we've got a nice little safe. I'm guessing that means we're going to make some money in it. That's good. Here we are back outside now, and I wanted to take a look at the vehicle spawns. So I'm going to go to the Manage Vehicles menu and request the bail office transport vehicle and see where do they spawn it. Well, there you go. Right there on the street, actually in the street, but it's right in front of the entrance. Easy to get to, not too far away. That should be very convenient and easy to use at this location. One thing that's nice about this location is having the door and the garage doors so close to each other. So if you park your vehicle right here, doesn't matter which door you come out, you'll be close to it. Haven't seen yet in the other properties if they do those goofy things where you walk out the back but you actually end up in the front. We'll have to check that out and see how it goes. But all in all, if you like Paleto Bay, this is a pretty decent location. The second most affordable location is here in Davis, and this one starts at a regular price of $2 million. So I spent $1,650,000 on the last one. We're going to see how much trade-in value we get since I didn't buy any upgrades at all. It'll be the trade-in value for the property itself. But this time I am going to buy an upgrade. I'm going to get this second design option, criminal patterns, and it costs $125,000. I'm not going to buy any agents yet. I think I'm going to wait and do that a little bit later. And I'm not going to buy the personal quarters yet because I want to see if you get any money back at all for the style when you do the trade-in. We'll find out on the next one. So I will skip buying any of these extras for now, and we'll just get the new style and the new location. So I am going to get $825,000 in trade. That's exactly what I was expecting. That's 50% of the original purchase price for the building. You will get that back. We'll see. If I don't expect I'm going to get anything back in trade for the style when I do the next trade, but we'll find out. So if we look at this location here in Davis, there are lots of other businesses nearby that you may already own. So if you do, Davis would be a very convenient location. As I'm standing here at the Davis location, let's zoom in on the map a little bit and see there's not really much nearby. I guess there is a place to get your hair cut here and a little mini mart not far away, but everything else is a pretty good hike from here. There's not much that's close. I did request the transporter vehicle. I was standing right about here, and it spawned it over there on the other side of the train track here. So I'm gonna slip over here to grab it, and it got beat up a little bit because cars kept running into the back of it because it spawned right here on the street. But I wanted to get the vehicle out so you could see what it's like to drive it in at this location. It's a little bit different. There's a couple of tight little turns here because there's the entrance on foot, but then you have to come around here and back here to get to the garage. A little bit tighter than it was in Paleto Bay. As I'm stepping here into the entrance, I'm noticing that it really doesn't matter what style you choose. The entryway and the garage stay the same with all three designs. So here as I'm entering this again is the second style option. That's some pretty old looking stick-on vinyl tile on the floor. The desks appear to be maybe a little bit different color, and now we've got some dark wood paneling at least halfway up the wall, and the walls have a little bit of sort of a greenish paint to them. So all that trim there around the windows, I think before in the last one it might have been black, but now it's got that dark wood tone. So the cell stays the same, but just some minor changes. And again, just to double check, as you can see, this hall is the same, the stairs are the same, the lockers and the lock boxes are the same, and the garage is the same. So the style only affects the office and the front office, not the entry and not the garage. So when I was up in Paleto Bay, I made a point of talking about the front door and the garage door being close to each other. These are the exact opposite. So if you were to park right by your front door and then had to leave out of the garage for whatever reason, that means you got to run all the way around to the front where you parked. Or if you parked back here and left out the front door, you'd have to come all the way back. So I have to admit, I'm not really crazy about that. Probably the reason I love my 8-bit arcade, because the door and the garage door are so close to each other. But that's just a pet peeve of mine. Maybe it won't bother you. But just bear that in mind. There's not a lot of parking out front here. You do have a couple of parking spots here, but you won't have a whole lot of room here like to land a helicopter or anything like that. You'd have to do it probably over here on the side. The next two location options are pretty much almost the same price. They're like $40,000 in difference. So it's really a lot about what's more convenient for you. This one is in Del Perro, and the base price is $2,350,000. So we've already checked out the first two styles. This time I'm going to buy the third style. This one's called Courtroom Teak. We're going to check that out, and now we're going to find out if we get any trade-in at all for the style that I bought last time. But I'm also going to go ahead and buy personal quarters, because I want to see in the next trade-in if I get any of this money back. So it's $295,000, and I'm not going to buy anything else because I want to see what I get for that trade-in. So now I'm up to $2,790,000 with the personal quarters. So now you can see I'm getting $1 million in trade for my Davis office. That is exactly half of the original price, so I didn't get anything back for the style option, and I wouldn't have expected to because you don't on any of the other properties either. This location in Del Perro does have a couple of nearby nightclubs and one arcade, but that's really about it. I mean, yes, there's a couple of motorcycle clubhouses, but a lot of your other businesses are not on this west side of the map. So there would be some travel involved, but if you like this area, or maybe you have the Long Bank Executive Office, that's close by, or the Maze Bank West, those are close by as well. But a lot of the other businesses are not nearby. And taking a look here at the map, you can see you're kind of in a little alleyway here in between a whole lot of buildings, which in some ways is kind of neat, but in other ways it can be a little bit inconvenient trying to move through here with larger vehicles. We're going to go ahead and order the transport vehicle and see where it spawns, which is another thing that isn't great being back here in an alley. Let's take a look and see what it does. So if I go to my manage vehicles and request my bail office transporter, it's going to spawn it all the way out here. So again, that is one of the disadvantages of being back in an alley like that, is I got to come all the way out here to get it. And it is parking it right here in the middle of the road, so I'm sure that could cause some traffic issues and have people running into it, that kind of thing. But now let's take a look if we come in this direction. Now, one of the advantages of this property is you can come in from several different main roads. You can come in this way heading south like we just did, or over to the west there. And then you can also, if I try not to trigger the garage door here, you can also come in from over here. So that is one thing that's kind of cool. You have several different ways to get here. But as you can see, this alley's a little bit tight, not a whole lot of parking, but you probably could land a helicopter here. And we will park right here and check it out. So, well, at least they didn't put the living quarters in the garage. That was nice of them. Don't exactly want to be breathing gas fumes all night. Let's see if we can figure out where they put it. So here we have these lockers and boxes again. It must be upstairs. So again, with this third style option, none of the hall or the garage or anything has changed, but When we come in here, oh my goodness, that's a lot of 70s looking paneling. Looks like that's a carpet on the floor that might even be all wrinkled. Yeah, it is. The desks and everything look pretty much the same. They're just a little bit different color, sort of a greenish brown now. We step into the office and there's that paneling all over the walls. The couch is brown now, and the tables and credenzas are a brown wood, but the desk hasn't changed. So when we come around, here we go, there's the living quarters. Now this is the same style no matter what style you purchase for the office. This is like the garage and the front hallway. It's always going to look the same. And there's your closet. So yeah, this kind of does look like what I would imagine a bail bonds office might look like. You know, bad 70s paneling and old ratty carpet. So here in the garage, you can see you can hold up to 2 personal vehicles in here because you've got 2 extra slots as well as your transport vehicle. Now, as I was saying earlier in the other locations, it is really nice that when you come out of this garage door, the main entrance on foot is right here next to it. So no matter where you left your vehicle, you're going to be right there. It's either way, your vehicle's just going to be right here. So that's kind of nice, although I do have to say that is a bummer with this location, that when they spawn any vehicle that you request, it's going to be all the way out there on the main street. One last look at the map again from this location. Not only are there not a lot of businesses near here, but there aren't very many amenities either, other than the fact if you want to go hang out at the pier a lot, this is a good place to be. But there is an ammunition, but everything else is very inconvenient. There's no custom shops. There's, just a mini mart up here, clothing's even. Well, I guess you got 1 or 2 that aren't too far away, and a hair place down here. And you're not too far from this garage, so I guess that's not bad, but it's not super convenient, especially if you own a lot of businesses. There aren't that many nearby. The second most expensive bail office is here in Mission Row. And again, it's only $40,000 more than the one in Del Perro, with a starting base price of $2,390,000. We've already seen all 3 of these styles, so I'm going to go back to the default one and let you see it again. I'm not going to purchase any agents because I'm absolutely sure you won't get any trade-in for those. I am going to go ahead and keep the personal quarters. I do have to buy that again, though. They're going to charge me $295,000 for that. We'll see if I get any trade value. And I'm also going to buy the gun locker, so we can see when I trade this in for the last one, do I get any money back for that? That's $175,000. Finally, with the armor plating, since that's on your vehicle, I'd be willing to bet I'm only going to have to pay for this once, and when I move to another location, I should still have that. But we're going to find out if I'm right. So now I'm up to $2,985,000, and when I trade in my previous property from Del Perro, that amount there, $1,175,000, is exactly half of the building purchase price itself. I didn't get any trade-in at all for the living quarters, and of course no trade-in for the style either. What's really great about this Mission Row location is there are lots of businesses nearby here. So if you have a lot of your businesses located on the east side of the map, this is going to be a very convenient location for you. There's Videogeddon is nearby, several different auto shops. One of them's practically next door. There's the Mission Row nightclub. There's also the other, I think that's La Mesa nightclub. Can't remember the name of it. very close here to the Maze Bank Tower and Arcadius. Lots of businesses close by, so this is a very convenient location for that. If we take a look at where we are on the regular game map, you can see there's a few amenities nearby. There's a paint shop and an ammunition just across the LS River. If you call for a plane, I think sometimes they land them here in the LS River. That's kind of convenient. And I did neglect to mention that at the Davis location, which I think is over here, there is a helicopter spawn point over. Oh, no, there it is. It's over here. There is a local helicopter spawn point for that one I forgot to mention, so that's kind of convenient. But from this location, you do have lots of businesses nearby and a few good amenities. Now here's what's really interesting about this location. You are right across the street from the Popo. I don't know how that's going to work out if you're doing bounties and bringing them back, because again, I haven't tried that yet as I'm recording these locations. I don't know if that's going to get you a wanted level. I'm guessing it won't, or they probably wouldn't have put this location here. But you can see we're right here by the bridges and the river. I don't know yet which one of these is. Oh, that is your garage door. I was kind of surprised to see that because all the rest of them had the logo here for the business, and this one's just got graffiti, but that is the one you're going to drive into. So you can see there's not a whole lot of parking here. In fact, there's really no parking at all. You just have to park your vehicle either on the sidewalk, on the street, or over there close to the train tracks. Just be careful not to get it run over. So let's see where they're going to spawn the vehicle if we request the bail office transporter. So there they go, right here on the street. So again, you know, they're liable to run up to it if there's a lot of traffic. But at least it's close by. You don't have to go far to get to it. And there's certainly no obstruction getting in and out of the garage. It's just right here, except for this pole. You got to kind of watch for that. That's about it. That's not too bad. And the front door and the garage door are very close to each other. So, except for the minimal parking, that's not too bad. So once again, we're back to the default style option, and there's no changes here in the hallway like we've seen before. But I wanted to get another look at it since now we've seen the other ones, we can compare it again. So see how very light gray or white that the desks are, and all the little cabinets and everything are light gray or white, but the cell is the same. And it looks like maybe a concrete floor. I didn't catch that in the first one. It doesn't look like carpet. But pretty much the layout's all the same. It's just your basic grays and whites and really dirty looking white walls. And so this trim here around the windows and on the doors, that does appear to be black. And we've got a dark gray couch. I think it was a little bit lighter on one of the other ones, and there is where the gun locker would be if you order one. That's where they put it. So it replaces a couple of file cabinets. And just one more look, you can see here the door to the living quarters is that kind of dark gray or black. And again, the living quarters is exactly the same no matter what style you get. It's pretty grungy. I don't think I'd want to wake up there. Finally, the most expensive of the bail offices is here in downtown Vinewood. Now, I haven't talked about this a lot with the other locations, but I suspect what's going to be the most convenient about this one is how central it is in the map. I haven't actually done any bounties yet, so I could be wrong, but I'd be willing to bet they're going to be pretty much all over the map. That being the case, this is the most central location. They're probably going to be the most convenient to get to this one. If you had one all the way up in Grapeseed, for example, it'd be a whole lot further to get to Davis or Del Perro And even this one in Mission Row is still quite a bit further south. However, it is right there on the freeway. So the Mission Row one, or close to the freeway, that might be pretty convenient. But this one's a little bit further north, and there's good access north and south and east and west from here. I suspect that's going to be the most convenient location for doing the bounties. The base price for this location, which is the most expensive, is $2,620,000. I'm going to go back to this Courtroom Teak one because I think I'm going to keep this location, and I think I'm going to keep that style. Go ahead and keep the personal quarters. I don't really need the gun locker, so I'm not going to go ahead and buy it again. But if I go to the armor plating, let's see, it's going to make a liar out of me. I really didn't think they were going to make me buy that again when I moved from one location to another, but sure enough they did. So I'm not actually keeping the same vehicle I had at the last location. I'm getting a whole new one. So note to self, you don't get any money back for that, and they do charge you again. So I'm going to spend $3,185,000 for this location with these upgrades. And when I bought the last location at Mission Row, $1,195,000 is exactly half of the original price of the building. So after all these experiments, I've proven that you're only going to get 50% of the purchase price of the building back, and that's it. None of your other upgrades, styles, any options that you buy, you're not going to get any of that back in trade when you move. So bear that in mind. If we look back here at the other properties that are close by, this is the reason I'm going to keep this one. I happen to have my agency very close by here. As a matter of fact, it's right there on the map. And this is my nightclub. That's my motorcycle clubhouse. I lied. That's not my nightclub. Yes, it is. That's it. That's the other one. That's West Vinewood. I had this auto shop for a while. So, and I do have this arcade. So this is very convenient for me. I like and it's close to the casino. This is definitely the one I'm going to keep. And again, I think because it's so centrally located on the map, I think it's going to be a really good bet for the bounties, that it'll be a good location. So here we are at the final location here in downtown Vinewood. Let's start out taking a look at the game map. And you can see here there's an ammunition quite literally walking distance away. Again, there's a lot of businesses near here like we talked about on the foreclosures map. There's a couple of other things like a haircut place and clothing. The auto shop's the custom shop's not too far away, but it is also really close to the casino, so if you like to spin the wheel, that's a good thing. It's a pretty good central location. But now if we come to check out the property, here's the front door, but as you can see, there's no garage anywhere close to here. So where is it? We come around the corner here. No, it's not right there. We need to go all the way around back here to the parking lot, and there's the garage. So I mentioned earlier how much I hate it when the garage and the front door are so far apart, because then you have to leave the same way you came in so you can find your vehicle. But I guess I'm just going to have to learn how to live with it, because I really do like this location. So the good news though is that this parking lot's a pretty nice size. So it's certainly, there's no real obstructions getting in and out of it, and you could very easily land a large helicopter here. So that's nice. There's plenty of good space. If I was over here, let me see what happens if I order my vehicle. Where do they bring it? Wow, they sure do spawn it fast. Okay, so it's not super convenient, but not as bad as running across the tracks down there in Davis. Let me also see if I return this. Yeah, I know, honk at me, that's alright. Let me return that and see if it'll let me order it again. Ah, that's right, you do it here. So I wanted to see that's where it spawns if you order it from the garage, but what if you're just stepping out of the office and you order it, where does it put it? They didn't make me wait either. So that's proof positive. It does put it in the same place no matter which door you exit. So neither one of them are super convenient, but they're not, you don't have to run too far. So I guess that'll do. So just to double check this, it's not too hard to get in here. So we'll take one more look at the third option for the styles. There's our 70s paneling everywhere, and our stretched out carpet. The same cell, no matter what style you get. And still the dark gray drawer cabinets over there, and like we said earlier, the desks in there have a little more of a greenish brown color, but there's the brown couch and the brown credenzas and the brown table. And see, I did go without the gun locker now, so the file cabinets are back. But one last good look around. One last peek into the living quarters, the oh so not so lovely living quarters. And there we go. There's the file cabinets again. I think the window coverings are pretty much the same in all of them too. Now these are the security cameras. I didn't show these in any of the rest of them. It's not as meaningful when the front door and the back door are on the same side because that's where the cameras are. But in this one it's really obvious because here's where we're looking out at the camera over the entry door, and then here's the camera over the garage door. So very different look from those security cameras when the doors are not side by side. Thanks so much for watching. A like for this video and a subscription to my channel are always greatly appreciated. You'll find a link to my Discord channel in the video description below, so I hope you'll come by and say hello. Have a great time with your new bail office, and see you next time.